upon a time, in a land far away, a soldier came marching down the road. He was coming home from the wars, with his sharp sword at his side and his heavy pack on his back. On the road, he met a hideous old witch with a pointed nose.
"Good evening, soldier. What a fine sword you have. If you help me, I will let you in on a secret to get more money than you could ever dream of."
The witch pointed to a nearby tree.
"That tree is hollow. Climb down with a rope, and you will find a vast hall lit by 100 lamps. There are 3 doors to 3 rooms, each guarded by a huge dog. Take my magic apron to protect yourselves from the dogs. All I ask in return is for you to bring back my grandmother's old tinderbox that she forgot down there."
The soldier was excited by the thought of all the treasure. He climbed down inside the tree and entered the first room. It was filled with copper, guarded by a dog with eyes as big as saucers. The soldier put the dog on the enchanted apron and stuffed his pockets with copper. The second room shone with silver, and the dog guarding it had eyes as big as mill wheels. Once again, the soldier used the apron to calm the animal and crammed as much silver as he could into his boots. The third room glittered with piles of golden coins. The guard dog had eyes as big as the moon, but once again, the magic apron protected the soldier. He got rid of his copper and silver and loaded himself up with gold instead. He was so excited that he nearly forgot the tinderbox and had to go back to retrieve it. "Pull me up now, you old witch," the soldier called. With his own pockets bulging with gold, he carried the tinderbox. "What are you going to do with it?" he asked.
"That's none of your business," the old hag cackled. "You've got your money. Now hand it over."
But the soldier demanded that the witch tell him the secret of the box. She refused. So he waved his sword and chased her away, then gathered up his money and the tinderbox and went on his way. That night, he stayed in the best room at a nearby inn, enjoying the finest food and drink. He bought himself fashionable clothes and expensive boots. The people were so impressed, they thought he must be a nobleman. "Our king has the most beautiful daughter in the world," they told him. "But there's a prophecy she'll marry a common soldier. So the king keeps the princess locked up in the tower of a great copper castle, and no one can get in to see her." The soldier thought this was sad and wondered about the princess's beauty. As he went on his way, he gave a lot of his money to poor people because he remembered what it was like going hungry. Finally, he ended up with nothing left and had to live in an attic and clean his own boots again. All his friends deserted him, for they had only been attracted by his wealth. One evening, the soldier suddenly remembered the mysterious tinderbox. It was one of the few possessions he had left. He drew it out and struck a spark from the flint. The door burst open, and there stood the copper dog with eyes as big as saucers. "What is your command?" the dog asked him. The soldier was amazed. He ordered the dog to get him some money, and it returned with a bag full of copper. He soon discovered that he could strike the box twice to get the silver dog with eyes as big as mill wheels. If he struck 3 sparks, the gold dog with eyes as big as the moon appeared. Once again, the soldier became rich, and all his friends flocked back to him. But this time, he had a bigger ambition. He was haunted by the thought of the beautiful princess held in the copper tower. So he summoned the copper dog. "Bring me a glimpse of the princess," he commanded. At once, the dog vanished and reappeared with the princess on his back, fast asleep. She was so beautiful, the soldier couldn't resist kissing her before the dog took her home. The next morning, the princess told the king and queen about her strange dream. "I rode on a dog's back, and a soldier kissed me." The king was suspicious and ordered an old woman to sit by the princess's bed that night. When the dog came again, the old lady pulled on her boots and followed them. With a piece of chalk, she drew a white cross on the door of the house they entered. But the copper dog spotted the chalk and marked every door in town to look exactly the same. So the king and queen were unable to figure out which door it was. The next night, the queen tied a bag of flour to the princess's back and snipped a small hole in it. It left a fine trail of flour wherever the princess went. The dog came again for the princess, but didn't spot the flour. The next day, the king and queen followed the trail, found the soldier, and threw him in prison. It was dark and dismal in the prison, and the soldier didn't have his tinderbox. He looked through the bars of the window, and by chance saw a shoemaker's boy running past. "Hey there! If you can fetch my tinderbox, I'll give you 4 coppers, the soldier promised him. Soon, the magical box was back in his hands. The king and queen had ordered a high gallows to be built to hang the soldier. But just as they were putting the rope around his neck, he asked to smoke one last pipe. The king couldn't refuse, and the soldier struck the tinderbox. Once, twice, thrice, the 3 enchanted guard dogs appeared. "Save me," he ordered them. So the dogs growled at all the guards and officials and chased them out of the kingdom. "Don't touch me," the king cried. But the dogs ignored him. They growled at the king and queen until they ran away as well, never to be seen again. The people cheered and shouted for the soldier to become their king. So the soldier sat in the king's carriage with the beautiful princess at his side. The dogs danced in delight in front of them. The wedding lasted a whole week, and the three magic dogs sat by their table all the while, wagging their copper, silver, and gold tails.